Welcome back guys to another race.
And this is part number 4 of our F1 24 career mode. This for the Japanese Grand Prix. But if you guys did miss the previous episode at the Australian Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. We had our very first wet session, wet qualifying, and the rookie mistakes came out in a big way. The car was very on edge, but it was still a good day in the office over one lap. The same definitely could not be said in the race, as we really fell away with a lack of race pace, issues with the tyres, and then major fuel saving issues at the end of the race meant we limped home for 2 measly points. But despite the difficult race for us and a really fantastic one for our teammate Lando Norris, who got a second place podium behind Max Verstappen, we come into this episode with a secret meeting on the cards. Representatives will be arriving soon, and we have got a team wanting to have a potential little talk about a move for the future. This is unprecedented. We're still finding our feet in Formula 1. I mean, we're going into this episode into our 4th race ever in the sport, and we just came off a very difficult race, so the circumstances seem a little bit odd, but obviously we did have that amazing race in Jeddah. But which team wants to have a meeting with us? Well, it's time to find out. We're going to step into this one, and Mercedes want to have a talk about signing me. Mercedes. Why on earth would I want to sign with Mercedes? We're ahead of them in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren are on the up, okay? I have no reason to join the Silver Arrows. Maybe Lewis Hamilton in-game is also clearly on the way out, like he is in real life. I don't know if that's coded into the game at all. I would really love that to be the case if Lewis is going to be leaving Mercedes at the end of this season to go to Ferrari maybe in game as he is in real life. But look at this. We're ahead of them in the championship. We're ahead of them on points. And in Jeddah, I've matched Mercedes as a team, their best result, which was P4 for Lewis in Bahrain. There is just no point. No, I don't even want to continue the talks here, okay? We are McLaren through and through right now. Papaya team, baby, okay? I've only just got here and linked up with my Quadrant teammate, Lando, as well. There's just no need. I'm going to decline the talks, okay? I want none of this funny business secret talks with the Silver Arrow. Who would want to sign for Merc right now? Really? 3 years of utter disappointment.
Hey, just a quick one for me. The team are pleased that you've declined that meeting. Gold star, brownie points, etc., etc. I guess we'll see if anything else more exciting comes calling. But let's focus on our current seat for now.
So it seems we've got the brownie points with Zach Brown and Andreas Stella. So I'm happy with that. I mean, like I said, that right now, at this point in my career, we've only just got here, you know? And we're still finding our feet. We're still finding a rhythm in the sport. There is no... I'm flattered, but there is absolutely no need to start talking to other teams. Yes, on paper, technically, you can see on the right-hand side, Mercedes are ahead of us in the R&D chart, but we are building. And this team has had a trajectory that I like, from watching on the sidelines as an F2 driver in 2023, and now here in 2024, I am here, and we are on the up. You know, yes... Last race was difficult, but Jeddah was fantastic. There's going to be an ebb and flow, just as there is in the actual race. There's an ebb and flow to the season, and I'm hoping we can ebb back up here into Suzuka. But right now, we've got Lando with some parts in development. Our upgrade on the rear downforce actually failed, so for once, Lando's upgrade, one of his, did come in, and my one was the one who failed. So it's now time for me to eat humble pie and rebuy that, but we've got both front and rear downforce upgrades on the cooker. And Lando also purchased a power unit upgrade, and you can see we are slowly making progress in our overall rating. We're still 75 overall, but we are chipping away. The experience is climbing up and up and up as we do the practice programs, and everything like the pace, etc., is going in a general upward trend, apart from the focus, which is plateaued a bit, but obviously that was from last episode. And to be fair, if you really think about it, my focus did in fact just go away at the end of the race when I got very fed up with the situation we were in. But it's now time to go to our specialists, and really, Colin, really, you're going to give me a task of changing my engine components during a race weekend and doing 3 laps each? What if I don't want to change my engine, huh? What if I'm okay with the components I've got? Zoe, see, this is why I like Zoe, Colin. Okay, these goals, these are achievable. These are fun goals. Overtake 5 cars out on track. I'm hoping so. Back markers not included, of course, but yeah, that's the kind of goal I like. What we got here? Receive fewer than 3 corner cutting warnings. Look, I never corner cut, okay? I am the most saintly driver there ever is. So, Chloe, thank you very much for that. And Denise, even Denise has a nice set of goals. I mean, it seems pretty unhappy with me. Now, I know the strategy went to crap last episode, Denise. I know it did. It was a shambles with the fuel saving. I promise, hand on heart, I will follow the strategy to a T this episode. Mark my words. But Colin, you can just get lost, mate. You can get lost. So now we turn our attention to the actual race weekend at hand. Lando's front downforce upgrade comes in. The spark plugs come in for him as well. And my rear downforce upgrade comes in. Hallelujah. 3 upgrades pending. 3 upgrades that have come in for the Japanese Grand Prix. So technically now we have climbed to 2nd place on the R&D chart. But it's still so close between ourselves, Mercedes, Ferrari, even Aston Martin, and Williams, in fact, are closing in. Williams are now super close to this pack, basically. So no wonder Albon's been giving me a bit of bother in the season so far, because they are on the up and up, and they might be even closer this time around Japan. It could be a very ferocious fight around Suzuka, but let's hope that these upgrades work out better for us than others, and we can try and have another solid race here and a bit of a better time with the fuel management and the tyre management than we had around Australia.
A warm welcome, everybody, from a venue that has seen plenty of sensational laps over the years. Remember, Verstappen in 23, Vettel in 2019, some phenomenal pole laps. But whose will it be today?
We come to Japan a little bit earlier in the calendar season, and that means one thing. The cherry blossoms are out, and as you can clearly see, they are also out on my helmet, as we have a nice little one-off Japanese Grand Prix helmet for this race weekend, and we get into qualifying then and hoping to do well here. Japan is a monstrous circuit, and with this new handling, a little bit tricky to maybe navigate and suss out where the limit is, but that tight front end really actually does bode well for a circuit like this, where you're having to constantly change direction, especially in Sector 1, and eventually in Q1 on our 2nd flying lap. We do get to grips, we find a little bit extra, over half a second in fact, and we go across the line to go P5 ahead of Lando currently, but at the end of the session, others will go quicker, but we're through into Q2, but there is still a further half a second to maybe find to Lando there. We're P11, and he is up there in P4. Red Bull looking strong again with Max Verstappen, but Russell Leclerc up there as well, and Sauber again looking a bit quick. Very much quicker than they are in real life in the game here, at least. Yeah, this track's even more intense, I found, with the handling model on this year's game, with the front end being so sharp. You really have to be very confident and trusting that the grip will be there as you chuck it in. The hairpin is a little bit difficult, as it's obviously banked as well, and finding the rotation a little bit tricky, so that's at least one thing I'm hoping to maybe improve on as we go into the race, maybe getting laps under our belts. But right now it's just about trying to perform, and so far this lap's felt pretty good as we navigate spoon curves and go now to the end of the lap. Cross the line. Oh, wow, no. Only P11. We matched our Q1 time, basically, but it's not good enough now. Everyone else is sped up, and as we try and desperately claw back time in Sector 1, we lose the back end. I had a big lack of battery anyway, you may have noticed on the yellow bar. It's halfway full. So I was already down on some time into turn 1. I was trying to find some time back in the S's in that, and just overcooked it, and annoyingly, that's going to be it then. I had no time left in the session. We had 30 seconds left when I had that spin, and so once again we don't make it into Q3. We are knocked out, and we are P11. Our teammate up there in 2nd place, Fernando Alonso, he was looking so quick for, you know, the initial stage of the Australian Grand Prix. He's looking quick here in Suzuka. Verstappen, we could have narrowly knocked out Verstappen, the reigning champion, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Again, another mistake in quali. We really really need to try and iron out those mistakes in qualifying, because it's really hurting us. Honestly, if we started higher, we just have a better chance. I know it sounds obvious, but, you know, especially as in the early stages of our career, you know, just getting track position could be massive. We could do some defensive work in a position where it's maybe higher than we're expected to be in. So instead now we have to actually do a lot of work to try and overtake some cars. But, you know, there's already a lot of quicker ones ahead of us already. So where we can go from here, who knows? I thought the first lap we did in Q2 was pretty good, but it only matched our Q1 lap time. So maybe the overall pace just isn't there, even though I feel comfortable in the car. At least that might mean I'm better at the tyre wear maybe in this track compared to Australia, if I feel at least comfy with the car and it's not on like a knife edge. Let's go to the grid. Let's find out how the top 10 shaked out and see what we can do come the Grand Prix.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Norris, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Bottas, Zhou, and McLaren, Hamilton, Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Now, Ant, you know us. Professionals as we are, we don't listen to rumours all the time, just some of the time. And in the case of this driver, I think we were right to listen to those rumours because they were true.
Seems like the rumours are true, Crofty. Now, the good thing is for the driver that if you've potentially signed or had chats with a team that are going to further your career, that's all well and good. But the problem it immediately creates within your own team now is that potentially the team stop giving you inside information, and therefore you're not privy to that knowledge of where the car's going in terms of its future development.
So it was a very good day in the office then in Q3 for Lando. He's on the second row, P4, showing the car does have more speed over one lap. Like I said at the end of the qualifying segment, I'm going to take some solace in the fact that I did feel very comfy on the lap though. Even though it was slow for me in Q2, there was that comfortability that I maybe lacked in Australia. So I'm hoping that will mean that I can actually look after the tyres in a better way. And this time I've made sure to put in some extra fuel just so we definitely don't have to do any fuel saving today. And you'll notice we are starting on the hard compound of tyre. We're going back to what we did in Jeddah and hoping by rolling the dice and being the only one on the hard tyre at the start of this race, we can once again capitalise once that tyre wear starts to kick in for the drivers around us. But we're now going to 5 red lights to a much earlier Japanese Grand Prix in the calendar. Lights out and away we go. Zhou Guanyu very slow off the line. Can we get the jump on him in that second phase of the getaway into turn 1? It looks like Verstappen leads the way still. Fernando Alonso unable to challenge him from the front row. Lando's made an overtake. He's ahead of George Russell, I can see, and we have finished off that move on Zhou Guanyu and are now sandwiched in between the electric green Kick Sauber cars. As I've mentioned, they've been very quick, but I'm hoping we can dispatch of Bottas soon enough and maybe get onto the back of Lance Stroll. But how far we can go from here, that is a big mystery, because a lot of the cars ahead of us are the same cars that completely had us down under last time out. Let's see. But yeah, Verstappen leads the way from Alonso. Lando does well to be in P3. Like I said, one overtake for him, one overtake for me. And now it's about settling down into the race. And it's also about being patient for us like we were in Jeddah and waiting for these guys' medium tyres to start wearing out. But right now, that's not on their minds. Right now, on Fernando Alonso's mind is getting into P1 maybe. Into turn 1. He faked to the left, went to the right, to the inside. And the Aston Martin is in P1. Once again, Fernando Alonso looking feisty and fast at the start of a Grand Prix. But will it be the inevitable Red Bull domination by the end of the race as it was in Melbourne? We're going to have to see. But we've set a purple last sector here as we close up on Bottas. It's inches away from making contact. And we go round the outside of the fin. A little bit of a drift on the exit. And we have to catch the car as Bottas still was on our outside. But we've got the move done for P9. And that was a lot of fun. That was fantastic. We got literally inches away from Bottas's rear tyre. This is the onboard side on here. You can see how close things were, especially on the exit, because there we are losing the back end. And we bang tyres a little bit, but Bottas has been overtaken. And we get up into P9 as we now ride on board with Verstappen. Lap 5 now, rapidly getting through the first stint in this race. And Verstappen is going to repay Fernando Alonso the favour and get up into first place with a move on the inside in similar fashion to the one he did. As we see now, we have actually pushed away from Bottas. We've actually nearly broken DRS from Bottas. Could we actually be looking forwards rather than backwards in this race? It seems like there's some pace there, and despite my engineer telling me to try and avoid overheating the engine, we're just pushing on and gaining on Stroll. Big move on the inside there. We gained so much just using the battery right at the end of the straight. A little bit sloppy on the exit there on the curb, but we've got the move done either way, and it was a real aggressive pounce to the inside because for the first time in, well, at least 2 episodes now, I'm feeling feisty. I'm feeling like we can actually fight a little bit and overtake cars ahead of us, as Alonso feels the same way, and he re-overtakes Verstappen for P1. So good to see Alonso and Verstappen consistently swapping, at least, unlike in Australia, where eventually Verstappen started to walk away. And meanwhile, behind us, the 2 Kick Saubers are holding up Hamilton, and, you know, Merc, maybe this is why they wanted a secret meeting with us, because Hamilton in the game here is, well, like kind of like real life, struggling with this Mercedes car and just not performing too well, and he well may just not be focused as a driver because he already knows he's on the way out for a different team maybe. So that's maybe why Mercedes at the start of this episode wanted that secret meeting with us, but we're putting that aside. We're loyal to McLaren as it stands, and for good reason, because look at this pace, man! Getting very low on battery, but it's for good use to try and get round the outside of a Red Bull of Sergio Perez through 130R, very committed, and kept our finger on the pulse when it comes to the ERS, and in doing so as well, we've also managed to maintain our objective of keeping the engine temperatures in a good working range as we're up into P7. Genuinely, this car has some race pace, and these hard tyres are again working wonders. I don't know why you'd ever start on a different tyre. This just might be the new meta. Obviously, might not work everywhere. You know, there might be some instances where the hard tyres are just really slow compared to the mediums, compared to any softs at certain circuits. But it seems like Japan is not one of them. Again, this is coming. The race is coming towards us. The medium tyre runners, they are starting to maybe feel that tyre compound degrading, and we are just getting quicker, and we're using the battery at some really good points through 130R, saving it, and into the chicane. Even though we're on none ERS, we make the dive bomb on Leclerc, neck and neck on the outside. The Ferrari completely left the door open on the inside at the chicane, and we just completely walk through it, as Verstappen will walk through maybe this space here on the racing line to get up into P1. Alonso, to be fair to him, went defensive, but actually, weirdly enough, here at Suzuka, sticking to the racing line is actually probably the better defense, because it just means you block off that actual quicker section on the exit, as we still see the Saubers holding up Hamilton, but they're having a ding ding-dong battle ahead of Lewis. And then meanwhile, Ocon and Gasly have actually been swapping a few times in the Alpine as they look to try and stay ahead of the likes of Williams, Haas, and the Visa Cash App RBs as Bottas gets back ahead of Zhou Guanyu. And that is just going to be pain for Lewis Hamilton because he's basically getting slowed down by the two Saubers fighting. Look at the mini-map. Look at the massive gap to where those two Saubers are. Hamilton's going to be feeling utterly depressed at how far back he is because of the dirty air off the Saubers. Meanwhile, no dirty air, it seems, for us versus the Ferraris, as again, we're closing up on one of them. This time it's Carlos Sainz. We don't make the move in the chicane. Instead, we are just saving battery tactically and waiting now to go overtake mode. DRS open, and we now just tuck in for the slipstream. And we're going to gain very late on. Look at Sainz. He's got no battery left. He's flashing away, and that means it's our turn to go down the inside. Sainz off circuit. We've got the elbows out a bit, but Sainz also got it all crossed up a bit and went completely off the track, over the curb. And meanwhile, behind Leclerc, yeah, no wonder we waltzed past him very easily. He's really struggling on those mediums as Perez has not overtaken him, and he's like nearly 2 seconds back now from where we are. So things are looking on the up, and well, we're almost in the same camera shot as the top fight. And indeed, one lap later, lap 12, I can see the race leader ahead of me. This is unbelievable. This is unprecedented. For the first time, we've got a bit of a sniff of maybe a top 4, maybe even more here. We already got a P4 in Jeddah. We're going to go for P4 now here on Russell. Side by side with Mercedes through the spoon curves, the very team that had wanted to come to me for a secret meeting for potentially a move to them. I'm going to say no, overtake them, and then hopefully push away. That's the game plan at least, as we're neck and neck with Russell. He does actually pretty damn well to 130R to stay with me there and really gave me a good fight into that left-hander, but we do have the overwhelming momentum, you should you could say, in this race. Is now well, Lando's in, Verstappen and Alonso in. We lead the Grand Prix. We now unfortunately don't have DRS off anyone, so Russell will have the slight advantage on that as we come back through towards 130R, the same place we overtook him. He's now got DRS, I've not, so now we're the leader of this DRS train of Russell, Sainz, Perez. We go defensive. Russell with a late launch on the outside on those mediums that are probably screaming out. We go for the switchback, and in the end of it, it's a bit of a futile effort because Russell comes in. The same for Sainz, the same for Perez and Stroll. So we continue to lead the race, and like in Jeddah, we now have some time to try and get our head down and be consistent with the lap times, but not for too long. We will be coming in very, very shortly on lap 15, so you're talking 2 laps basically of trying to be consistent, but that's at least something. Clean air will be our friend basically. But at the same time, remember, the undercut we've seen so far has been very, very powerful on this game, so I don't imagine we'll be coming out in the same place where we were before the pit stop started, but we're now crucially going to be on medium tyres, although a bit of a slow stop there, 2.8, a little bit slow getting that tyre on, but it is what it is. Lando Norris, Lando sets purple, so he is going very well indeed. I can see he's tucked up very close to the top 2 of Alonso and Verstappen, so Lando fighting not only for a podium, but maybe even trying to close up to these 2 for the top spots. Meanwhile, we've come out in P8, so behind everyone, but we're on much fresher tyres, so it's go time. There's going to be plenty of overtaking today, and that specialist objective is going to be met for sure. 5 overtakes. We've already made way more than 5, I'm pretty sure, as we watch Alonso and Verstappen neck and neck. Oh, the 2 nearly made contact, I think there was a bit of contact as Verstappen tries to squeeze past Alonso to get back into P1, but it certainly seems like the Spaniard is here to stay with this fight, unlike in Australia. But look at Lando, watch him go. He pulls out to the inside. Alonso defensive, has to squeeze, but Lando gets up into second place out of nowhere seemingly. I really thought Alonso was about to have a run on Verstappen, but Lando instead has made the opportunistic move, has caught Alonso unawares, and he's up into second place. It really could end up like Australia with Verstappen P1, Lando P2 again. The difference is I'm not looking to only be P10 or P9. We are in P8 and we're looking for better. We've got got Perez ahead of us, the two Ferraris, Russell, all cars that we already have overtaken, but the undercut was that powerful that we've come out behind all of them. But now we've got much quicker mediums, 10 laps to go. We can banzai this, and banzai it we will to the inside of the hairpin. And you know, I talked about wanting to find better rotation through that hairpin in qualifying. Well, absolutely, by about, I would say, lap 12 of this race, I started to find a real good rhythm of rotating the car, keeping the front tyres rolling through the hairpin to get that launch and to keep the car rotating through the entire corner. And that's paying us good lap times, and also elsewhere with the battery use. It's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Russell going for the move on Leclerc. Leclerc on the outside, Russell to the inside. We have a little look at Carlos Sainz, but instead we're going to wait and be patient as he harvests a little bit with the rain light going. We're going to harvest Sector 1. Consistently, I've just been going none, just to save as much battery as we can, because you saw before when we overtook Perez, was it? You know, if we use enough battery through 130R, it seems like the other drivers around us absolutely aren't doing that, so we can really benefit. But at the same time, like I said, the hairpin, I got into a really good groove, and I became so confident that I thought, you know what, we can probably get Sainz at the hairpin before 130R. We float the car in, there we go, a little bit wider this time, as Sainz was a bit of a harder target to completely outbrake, but we did the job. Bit aggressive, but no contact made. Job done. And now we watch Leclerc struggle behind Russell. Russell's not looking too quick, and he's backing Leclerc into him, ironically, even though he made the overtake initially. Leclerc now might make the repass. DRS open for both of us. We're gaining on Russell, but we need to be very cautious on the outside. We float it through. Russell, though, is still there on our inside, and he might well squeeze us out. No, we get the power on the curb, and we get the turn in. We're up into P4, and immediately my team tell me to slow down with an average lap time. That's a lot slower. 132.9 is compared to my last lap was a 131, or that's my best lap, sorry, but I've been doing 131s so far. So my team clearly want me to calm things down a little bit. They may be concerned about the tyre wear on the mediums, but I do not care at the moment. Sorry, Denise, we're going to ignore the strategy again as we go neck and neck with and we're up to P4 by the apex. Try and slow it down back to none. We've used all our battery to make that move, and now we might be in a bit of a tricky spot, because going on to the next straight, Leclerc has DRS, Russell as well, and we're a sitting duck now. We're on medium battery. They're both through. Russell now might make a move on Leclerc. No, instead we can come back at him. We bang tyres with our fellow compatriot. Russell has a little bit of contact with me even to try and push me wide, and he does so successfully, enough to at least offset me. And I actually have to check for vehicle condition, and my engineer just completely blanks me. So I'll screw myself. But I don't think there's any damage, but there might be maybe after this, as myself and Russell are going for a tango once again. So even though we've got the overwhelming pace, you would say, maybe now there's a little bit of tyre wear kicking in, and also the battery use just means that it's so easy for them to close back up to us. Meanwhile, lap 22, Lando in the slipstream of Verstappen, and the Red Bull's vulnerable. Lando Norris going through into P1 of the Japanese Grand Prix. Lap 22 onto 23, though. Verstappen might well come back at him. No, it's actually going to be Fernando Alonso looking the quicker man of the two. Ooh, look at those reactions from Fernando as he gets round the outside of the Aston Martin, and Verstappen looks like he's limping a little bit. He doesn't have the pace quite to match them, as Alonso continues to fight side by side through the entirety of Sector 1. This is amazing stuff from Fernando Alonso in the Aston, as he's going to fully finish off the move up the hill. What an overtake, what a battle between Alonso and Verstappen, two titans and champions of Formula 1. But ahead of them is our teammate Lando, leading the way. Still a few laps to go in this race, so let's see how it goes. Can we finally get this P4 position and actually just waltz away? That would be the real hope for me, but annoyingly now you can see they're all bunching up behind me with a bit of a DRS train forming. Again, we're having to harvest a bit because we've used a lot of battery just to close up to Leclerc in Sector 3. Can we try and maybe go defensive? Leclerc to the inside, we squeeze him right to the wall, but Leclerc keeps his foot firmly planted in, and a bit of contact. We go a bit wide, understeer kicks in, and oh, Russell's hit us. Russell's hit us, and we're off on the grass. Absolutely wonderful there. Thank you very much, George. Thanks for that, mate. I don't know why he's being so aggressive with me. It's almost like him and Mercedes have been insulted by me rejecting them in the secret meeting, and he's taken it personally. I mean, look at this. He literally doesn't even try and turn anymore. He just understeers straight into me to hit me off on the grass there. It's all right, though. I'm going to return the favour, but, you know, you could take the rejection a bit better, George. You know, you could just learn just to take it without having to take it out on me on track, you know, as we go from left to right, sell him a bit of a dummy and a dream of the inside. And instead, we go round the outside at spoon curves to go up into P5. Meanwhile, back to the sharp end, and our teammate Lando Norris leads the way, but the wily old fox Fernando Alonso's got maybe other ideas, as he's got DRS open on the outside. Lando goes defensive, annoyingly, probably the worst racing line, as I've said, and Alonso is cleanly round the outside. Meanwhile, back to our race, and we're jockeying for position, and we aggressively get past Leclerc, swoop back to the racing line, and in similar fashion, Alonso on the racing line, fully ahead of Lando now. The Aston Martin leads the way. We've got 1.5 laps to go. It really looks like for the first time in Formula 1, there could be a non-Red Bull, non-Max Verstappen race win. But will it be Fernando Alonso, or could it be Lando Norris? As we go on towards the last lap of the Grand Prix, has Lando got anything in his tank? DRS open. Hopefully he's got some battery left. I think he does. Alonso does as well. There's no harvesting going on, but Lando on the inside. Big dive with DRS aided, and he's up into first place. I think he could do this. I think he could just do this. He just needs to defend and not have anything happen to him through 130R. Meanwhile, back to our POV. Well, we're keeping an eye on the mini-map to see where Lando is, but right now we're just also trying to stay ahead of Leclerc. You can see the tyre icon is orange, so we are facing a bit of tyre wear, but I'm focusing on the mini-map to see where Lando's dot is. He's ahead still. He's ahead. I can't believe it. This could actually be happening. Alonso, he's nowhere near Lando's rear end, and instead Verstappen is actually going to try and make a move for second place through 130R, and that will give Lando Norris the breathing room. They said Lando no wins, but today it was last lap Lando that has done it for him, and he takes his first Formula 1 victory here at Suzuka. It's the win at the Japanese Grand Prix. Get in there, man. Get in there. Come on. 1-4 for McLaren, but P1 for him.
Oh, I love you all. I love you all. I guess that's how it's done. And I nailed it. You nailed it. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. This one's for my grandma. Thank you very much.
Another action-packed Japanese Grand Prix comes to an end, and a magnificent drive to take the win today.
What a race win. He's done it 2 races earlier than he did in real life. Lando's AI is absolutely cooking the Japanese Grand Prix victory. I can't even be upset that that's going to be so bad for our recognition. Oh my god. You lot who thought, oh, I've taken the easier route picking McLaren. Oh no, you forgot about the recognition in this game. I've got such a tough job against Lando because he's so good in 2024, but I'm so happy for him. A race win 2 races earlier than he did in real life. It's the win here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff, and that just shows that we are on the up. I was right to reject Mercedes, and I am in the right team as it stands. I just need to get myself a bit quicker. It's only our 4th race as a rookie in Formula 1, though. We're still learning the car, still learning the handling, so there is time. And actually, very nicely, we get up to 76 rating. So we are getting better and better, and we are building slowly with this team in our rookie debut season. But what a race. What an episode. Secret meetings. Lando winning a race here in Japan. We got an amazing result. P4, can't complain in this special Japanese Grand Prix helmet. We've also apparently unlocked a secret R&D upgrade because we've got over 35% recognition, but I haven't seen no sign of it. So next episode, we'll look into that secret upgrade, but we've done all the objectives our specialists want to do. All in all, a fantastic day in the office for me and especially for the team. Lando Norris, race winner in real life and in the game here in Season 1. If you guys have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.